Good morning, second grade. Today is Wednesday, April 8. We are working out of Sadlier Math, Lesson 10-5. Our objectives for today is learning how to solve problems by drawing a picture or using a variety of strategies to solve problems. Our math words today are row and column, and as a review, remember rows go across and columns go down. Today, in order to save time, I am not going to be reading this entire story for this example that they're showing us. Basically, what they are telling us is that each row represents one box, and in each box are 4 markers. I'm assuming like color markers, crayons, or something like that. So each box represents a marker. Each row represents the large box that holds each marker. What they are asking us is who buys more markers? Is it Caesar, who has 3 boxes of 5 markers, or is it Isaac, who has 4 boxes of 4 markers in each box? The way we would solve it is to add each row. So here we did 5 plus 5 plus 5, and he found out that Caesar had 15. Here we did 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and we found out that Isaac, he had 16. So who has more, or who bought more? We could see that Isaac bought more. So once again, the greater or less than side, alligator's mouth eats the larger number, and 16 is shown to be greater. So Isaac buys more markers. Now let's put that into practice for today's lesson. Number 1, the directions above say read and solve each problem. You can draw a picture to help solve some of the problems. I like drawing pictures. Let's look at number 1. Mr. Hill plants 2 rows of 5 tulips. He also plants 3 rows of 3 daisies. Does Mr. Hill plant more tulips or daisies? Draw a picture and solve. Now, I am not going to draw tulips and daisies. I'll use X's and O's. I'm going to split it down the middle, and this side will represent tulips, and this side will represent daisies. As I do this, I'm going to draw 2 rows. That's just to stay organized, and I'll put 5 tulips on each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For daisies, he plants 3 rows of 3 daisies. So here are my 3 rows, and I'm going to draw 3 daisies on each row. Now I'm going to solve. This is 5 plus 5 gives me 10. This is 3 plus 3, which is 6, plus 3, which is 9. So we can see that there are more tulips than there are daisies by 1. So Mr. Hill plants more tulips. Remember to look at the question carefully. Do they want a number answer or do they want a word answer? They wanted words, so we put tulips. Number 2, the library set up a display with 5 rows of books. Each row had 4 books in it. At the end of the day, 13 books have been checked out. How many books are left? Draw a picture and solve. Let's take it sentence by sentence, and we'll draw what we read as we go along. The library sets up a display with 5 rows of books, so I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows. Each row has 4 books in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This may take a little while. Feel free to pause the video and draw it in yourself. At the end of the day, 13 of the books have been checked out. How many books are left? There are several ways that I could solve this. Personally, I think the easiest way would just be to cross out 13 X's, and then I could see how much is left. But since you're getting better at your math and subtraction, we could do it another way as well. I'm going to do it the other way. All right, this is using our skills that you've been picking up in math all along. First of all, let me count and see how many total I have here. So I have 4 plus 4, that's 8, 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So I have 20 books on the shelf. But moving on to the next sentence. At the end of the day, 13 of the books have been checked out. Well, checking out means subtraction, right? We're not adding to the group, we're taking away from the group. So I'm going to use my subtraction skills. I like to do that because it's good for you to keep reviewing how to subtract by regrouping, all right? So let's look at our ones place first. I have 0 minus 3. Can I take 3 away from 0? No, I can't. So I need to go next door and go to the tens place and say, hey, 2, can I borrow a group of 10s from you? You have 2 groups of 10s. And the 2 says, sure. I'll keep one group of 10 and you take the other group of 10. And just to be faster, I'm just going to move the 1 over here and turn it immediately into a 10. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 3 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I'll just leave that blank. And that means at the end of the day, there are 7 books left on display. Number 3, write about it. Explain the strategy you used to find the number of books left in the library's display. If I were to put this in my own words, you can too. Remember, I'm going to be very generous in how I look at this, and as long as you make sense in how you put it in your own words, I'm happy for you and I will accept it. This is what I'm going to say, so if you can't find words, use mine. Explain the strategy. First, I found the total number of books on display. Then I subtracted 13 books and was left with 7. And I'm going to leave it at that. There are so many different ways you can explain it. If you don't like the way that I explained it, find your own way. As long as it ends up with the same answer that mine does, I'll be fine. Okay, let's move on to page 449. Once again, we have an example up at the top, very similar to what we were looking at on this page. So we're just going to go down to the practice here. And it says, draw a picture to help solve the problem. A teacher has 24 bins of books. Bins are like containers. She has 24 containers of books. She puts the bins in 4 rows. How many bins are in each row? Let's talk about the rows. She has 4 rows. I like to talk about rows. Let's draw that in. Now, she has 24 bins total. We need to find out how many bins are in each row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting 1 bin on each row, and I will keep filling that in order until I run out of bins. And then I should be able to see how many bins are in each row. So I'm going to use circles this time. 1 bin on each row, and from there I will continue filling it out. I'm trying to do it equally, putting an equal number on each bin. That's 8. That's 12. That's 16. That's 20. Uh-oh. Let's add a little bit longer. And that's 24. Now that I have all 24 bins up on my array, I can focus on one row and find out how many are in just one row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, there are 6 bins in each row. Turn the page. This is where we're going to stop. Page 450 will be the last page that we do today. That's because problem solving takes a little more time, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by adding on another page. There actually is a third page. We're going to save this for tomorrow. So for today, we are just going to be solving this for your homework. That means that you have to do this all yourself. 3 problems on your own. I want you to read carefully each one, find out what it is that they are asking. That's where the question mark is. This is problem solving. That means that there is going to be more than one step. You might have to draw a picture and then subtract, or you might have to draw pictures and then add. You might have to compare 2 numbers. You might have to put as many possible answers as you can think of. But this is going to be your homework, these 3 problems. All right. When you are done, make sure your parents send it in by email, snapping a picture so then I can grade it. Good job, 2nd grade. I will see you a little later. Bye.